So I feel we're one step closer to actually showing who actually sent the messages, and that's what we're going to build the rest of this feature, this lesson right here. So let's go into our code right here. I'm jumping right into the backend, and I'm going to start by just creating a new file right here for the chat message. So this will be our chat message model that's going to explain how a chat message should look from now on. First of all, I'm going to just do it manually right here without the CLIs. I'll do an export and interface. It's going to be called chat message, and it's going to contain a couple of things. First of all, I want it to contain the actual message that I'm sending, and that's going to be the string. That's the string message we're already sending right now, but I also wanted to know who the sender was, and that's actually going to be the chat client who sent the message, right? So that's kind of the setup that we're going to try and work with this lesson right here. So now this guy's in place, let's jump into the service and make it so that we start using the chat model. And instead of just having an array of strings, of course, now we're going to have an array of chat messages. And that means that instead of returning when we're getting all messages, we should return, instead of a string array, a message array. There we go. Now, since a chat message now both needs a message and a sender, we need to change things around a little bit for the add message right here. We need to also pass in a sender ID, right? So we can say client ID. That's going to be our sender ID right here. There we go. And we can use that client ID and look up in the list of clients to find whoever was just sending this message. So I'll do a const right here. I'll say client. That's going to be equal to the clients, this clients right here. And then we can use the find to find a specific client. And we'll use a lambda expression. We'll say this is the client. We just call him C. If he has the ID that matches that client ID you sent in from the outside, we found our client. Happy days. The next thing I want to do is I want to make a constant that's actually going to be the actual chat message right here. Now that chat message is going to be, let me show you something. It's going to be of the type right here, chat message, just to kind of force my IDE into knowing that this is going to be a chat message. And then what I want is I want the sender. Now the sender is going to be the client. And then the other thing I want in my message right here is going to be the actual message that I'm passing in. And that's going to be the message from the outside. So that's all we need right here to create such a chat message right here. Now I'm going to push that chat message as the final thing. But I know that I'm also going to need this chat message later on. So let's also return it. And I'm going to say as the final thing, down here we're going to end up by actually returning that chat message to whoever is adding a new chat message. The reason I want to return it is now the logic, the chat service, is going to get a message and an ID, convert it into a proper chat message, and return that to whoever needs it, like the REST API, or in our case, the gateway. So let's jump to the gateway and make this work. In the gateway, it's not enough anymore that we know who the message. We also need to know who sent the message. So we're going to kind of make a little change right here. We need to also have the actual socket that sent that message, just like we do down here with nickname. So I'm going to copy that and just paste it up here. So now we also have the client who sent the message. So that all we need to do next is pretty much pass in the message. And of course, we also need to pass in the client ID. So let's do client ID. And there we go. Now the message knows who it is. And we also need to, instead of emitting just the message, that's just a string, right? We need to actually start emitting the chat message. So we need to make, again, a local variable right here, chat message. Let's uppercase that M. There we go. And let's just pass that instead of the actual message right here. Now this is very important because if you only pass the message, the frontend will be confused. It expects to get, in the future, it's going to expect to get an actual chat message object. And if you only end up by passing the string, it won't be able to get the different properties that are on that chat message object. That's it. That should be it for the backend at least. Let's jump to the front end. In the front end, of course, we need to start by creating the exact same model for the chat message. So let's go back and just find that model. I'll just copy all the code for now, and I'll just add that into the file right here, chat message.model.ts. Now again, we could use things like npm package system to create this so we don't have to copy paste it. But again, let's just keep it simple for now and just live with us having a bit of duplicate code in the front end and the back end. It's not a problem right now. I'll take that chat message now that I just created and start using it inside our service in the front end. So what I want to do is, first of all, I want to say that when I'm getting all the messages back now, when I'm getting back a message now, I'm not going to get back just a string, I'm actually going to get back a chat message. Which means that I can now, using that chat message, figure out who the sender was. Nice. The other thing I know is that right here, when I'm getting all the messages, I'm also getting back an array of chat messages now, and not an array of strings. That's all I had to change for the service. Next step, let's go to the component in the front end. And right now you'll notice that it says you're going to push a message right here, and that's again of the type chat message. You're trying to put that into this messages, which is actually of the type string array. So let's just fix that, go up here and say, no. It's going to be a chat message array we have in the front end. Now that's okay now, everything seems to be running there. This error will go away in a second. We'll go to the HTML now as the final part, and we'll say when we get a message now, we won't accept just to use the message, because now this is actually not a message, it's actually a chat message. So let's just call it that just to show you, chat message, like this. And I'm going to use that chat message to get the actual message. There we go. Now everything should be running. Let's try and have a look here. If we go to our application and write, I'm John, let's try and paste that in there and let's send a message. Hi all. Boom. It says hi all. Let's try and go to the other one and add Bill. Bill, there we go. And let's try and send a message from Bill. I am fine. Send that. There we go. The messages are coming, but we still don't see who sent them. And that's kind of the final part right here we need to fix. Going back to our code, we're going to make a ugly fix right now. But we'll make it prettier later with some bootstrap and stuff like that. So let's just go here to the chat message and say, I want to figure out who his sender is, and I want to present his nickname like this. Let's just try and go back, see if that actually works. So now, again, let's try and refresh and say now Bill jumps into the chat right here. The old messages are still there because we didn't restart the server. So let's say hi all like this from Bill. And it says, Bill says hi all. And you'll also notice we know the other guys' names as well. So it's perfectly fine. And let's say last joined, that's me. And I say, how you doing, Bill? And let's send that one. There we go. Last said, how you doing? Now again, the UI is hideous. We'll live with that for now. We'll change this later when we get to Bootstrap later on in the course. So that's it for this lesson. Now we actually just added even more cool stuff to our application. Now we can see who sent the chats. Next step, well, let's see what that'll be. See you next time. Bye.